Okay, here we go. This is Second Life. I was going to do a video about photography in Second Life, and then it occurred to me that maybe it would be a good idea before I do that to tell you what Second Life is. Second Life is a virtual world, and I quite enjoy it. I first came into it, let's pull up her profile and see. When I first came into Second Life was 15 years ago. Wow. It was August 22nd in 2008 when I first came into Second Life. I had heard about it somewhere. It was very different then to what it is now. This is one of the first places that I discovered when I came into Second Life, and I used to come here a lot. This is the Second Life Botanical Gardens. And back when I first started in Second Life, I'm going to change the lighting here because it's very difficult to really appreciate it, even if it's just... Okay, let's go to daylight and a little bit of haze because I do love haze. And this is the ambient color is very gray. This is one of the things that I do a lot of when I am taking photographs in Second Life, which is basically the thing that I do now in Second Life that I enjoyed the most, is taking photographs. And the reason why is because you can do so much to change the light, to change where the sun is coming from. The sun here for some reason is purple. Call me a traditionalist, but I prefer my sun to be somewhere in the yellow range. Anyway, I'm not going to do a lot to change the light right now. I'm just going to make some moderate changes so that you can see a little better, get an idea. But this is Hazel, my avatar, and she became very soon after, I'd say within a couple of years of my being in Second Life, I discovered that I could make her a Neko, and which meant that I could be a cat in my alternate life, in my Second Life. And as I had white hair even at that time, or was well on my way to it, I decided to have white hair. Even before she became a cat, Hazel had white hair. And this was a place I found, the SL Botanic Gardens, and it still looks very much the way that it did then. It it's built from prims as opposed to mesh, a lot of it. And prims were the shapes I also quite enjoyed building. And it was more challenging building then because you built with, maybe sometime I'll do one in SL building and show you, but you had a very limited variety of shapes to build with. And you had limits of how many prims you were allowed. So it was very challenging to build. And I quite enjoyed and still enjoy building, only now you can have mesh, which is sculpted to be one prim or a few prims and have shapes much nearer to real shapes. Like this looks like mesh, this pot here, and this table for that matter, although it's not necessarily, but it does look a lot like mesh. And you apply textures to shapes. And the wonderful thing about Second Life is that it is there's such diversity, because you see everything in Second Life was built by someone, or they might have purchased, whoever owns a piece of property might have purchased builds created by other people, but this is, you're walking around in other people's imaginations, basically. And some of it is rather wonderful, and just about anything that you can imagine you can find in Second Life. You can find gardens, you can find wildernesses, you can find various historical periods. There's a lot of steampunk There is a lot of medieval and fantasy type places. This is still very much, as I said, the way it was when I first entered Second Life 15 years ago. Before Mesh. Before Mesh changed a lot of things. So these are very rudimentary shapes that are created by prims that are rendered transparent and then have textures applied to them. The trees. Unfortunately, they also, a lot of them have light applied to them, which is why you can turn it dark and the trees and plants will still be lit up. Like if you made this midnight, as I'm going to go up here and do, you can see the trees are still lit up, which is kind of an interesting effect. So I came here. It's not a game, really. There are people who call it a game, and other people who just as vehemently deny that it is a game. One thing that the only goal in this game, if that's what it is to have fun. You can play games in here. There are a lot of role play sims where you can go and do role play, a lot of them dark role play, a lot of places that have vampires and werewolves and various monsters or aliens. Or I'm going to go to another place now. I'm not sure which. Let's go into my inventory and pull up a landmark. As you can see, I have my inventory landmarks arranged. There are clubs and music. You can go and dance with other people. Coffee and tea houses. Let's go to, if indeed these places are still there. Oh, I remember this one. Let's see if it's still there. There tends to be a lot of... All right, let's look around. It's too dark, but it might still be. I always tend to teleport flying because you never know. This looks like all right, let's get some light on the subject. You never really know when you teleport to some place if you are going to end up in the middle of the sky and come hurtling down to the ground, which is, at the very least, you can't die in Second Life, except on some of the sims where you will have a HUD that you will wear. This is Connie's Rooftop Parisian Cafe. And there's a good deal more mesh here. But you can see that this is just somebody set this up to be a little cafe that you can come to and hang out in. There doesn't seem to be any music here or any sounds, but this is somebody built this, and it does. To me, it looks a lot like, well, I've never been to Paris, but it definitely looks like a rooftop. And with the mansard roofs, it looks like Paris, sort of. But this is someone's idea of a Parisian cafe that they bought all the parts of, or possibly built some of them, and they built it. And they even have a poster from the Moulin Rouge. And it's a nice place to come and sit and relax. I used to come to Second Life and set Hazel up somewhere at a desk where she would be writing and where I would play music and I would be writing in real life, writing letters or even just sit here. All right, and we have, and it has, okay, I'll accept a pen, although I have my own pens, and she will write. And let's turn around and come to the window and look through. Hazel is quite small, so the seating animations are often much, much higher, and I have to adjust them very often. So Z is a down direction on a Z axis, brings things down. And as I will talk about in the photography video, it's really best. I have all the graphics set on high right now, and it is really best in a photography video, or when doing photography, to set up the pose before you set up the graphics, because once you get the graphics set to high, it gets kind of laggy, shall we say. But it's a nice, or you could come and meet someone here. There are people who meet people who make friends. I have several friends that I met in Second Life. There are even romantic relationships that start and bloom in Second Life, and I know of at least 2 couples who married in real life after meeting in Second Life, and who are very happy still after several years. You're still the same person you are. Well, in my case, Hazel is very much me, and I think of her as me. Other people have avatars who are very different from who they are in real life, but they're still, and this is what makes it not a game. And I think, in my experience, some people forget that the other avatars that you meet in Second Life are just that. They are avatars of people. They are not NPCs or non-player characters, for those of you who do not play games at all. And some people will treat you like an NPC, especially on the roleplay sims. They can be... There is a thing called blending, which is where you blend your feelings with what's going on. And I had a friend, I hope she's still my friend, who was fond of saying that it's like acting. And it's not at all like acting. Like improv a little bit, maybe, but as someone who has done some acting, role play is very, very different from delivering lines from a script. It can get very personal. It can get personal from both sides, from the person delivering the lines that they're making up out of their head and the person who is hearing them. It can be very hurtful. I don't do much role play anymore. As I said, mostly now I go into Second Life to create, to take photographs. In the photography video, I will show you some of the photographs I have taken on Second Life. I might even, I don't know if I will, but I might even share my Flickr URL so that you can go and look at my Flickr, which has a lot of my photographs from Second Life in it. And I really enjoy it. There's so much you can do with photography in Second Life. And I enjoy building in Second Life too. I'll try to see if I can include some photographs of things I built. I built a succession of homes that Hazel lived in on Second Life. And I really enjoyed that. And I don't know, maybe I'll do one on building as well, if people are interested in that. I first started building, I'd been in Second Life, I'm not even sure. But at some point I found a Second Life sim for Ankh-Morpork, which is, for those of you who are familiar with Terry Pratchett's wonderful Discworld series. Terry Pratchett is one of my 3 favorite authors, and all these 3 are my favorite authors because of the wonderful way they have with words. And I went to see Ankh-Morpork, and while I was wandering around Ankh-Morpork, this guy came up and started talking to me, and I think he suspected, I don't know, that I had nefarious purposes. I'm not sure at this point what he thought they were. But we got to talking, and he asked me, it was sort of his acid test, I guess. He asked me, so who's your favorite character then in Terry Pratchett's books? Because I let on to him that I had read almost all of them that had been published up to that point, and he didn't believe me and asked me who my favorite character was, to which I replied without hesitation, Granny Weatherwax, hands down. And he said, Udafo, which I had to look up. I had no idea what that meant, but it seemed to indicate approval. And we started talking, and he showed me something about building, because I marveled at this build, which was quite intricate. And he showed me something about the building, and I built a rug. He gave me a texture for a rug, and this was the most involving one prim. And then and also you have in your library, textures are, I am a total texture whore. Oh, that's not what I wanted. And that's not what I wanted. I love textures. And he showed me how to make a rug and then how to make a table, which took 4 prims. And he showed me and that was my start to building. And after that, I watched some building videos on YouTube, and I just experimented. And yeah, I think I will totally do a video on building. But this is your library, which is in everyone's Second Life inventory. And the library things are not in your inventory, but what happens is you go down and you look through, let's look through fabric, which is one of my favorite things. Zebra skin, cool. Okay, you're building something, say you're making a couch and you want a zebra skin pillows on the couch. And then you would save this to inventory. I am not seeing an option to save to inventory, but anyway, I have other zebra skin. But all this stuff that is in your library, you can save to inventory and then have it to use. And that's what I did with like some wood textures, and I made tables and then I made chairs. Well, nowadays you can buy what other people have done in, I'm not sure if it's Blender, that was what you'd use for Sculpted, or I've never made anything in mesh. I have bought mesh things, like her shirt that she's wearing now was from a mesh kit that I bought, and then I applied my own textures. I made the textures actually. And that's all very involved, but I love making things. I love creating things, and it's fun here. It's like just so many opportunities to make things, to create things, and everything that you have in your own house. Just to make this easier to see these textures. Textures often will be, let's go and do this, more. Let's see, reset. This used to have, in this wedge, it used to have texture refresh, yes. And then they'll come up so that you can see them. But this is all mesh, and it takes up a lot less prims. You can get a lot more on a property, but I will take you. Okay, so this is all right. I accept the pen. I think I probably have a pen from this place already, and I will go to her inventory and go to recent objects. Pen, I have accepted it already. I don't know why they. All right. My name? No. Come on. Where's the thing? This has changed. Where? Okay. Which is always dangerous, but I didn't see a thing to. Oh, it's a quill. It looks like a quill pen, I'm guessing. And you usually have to. All right, edit. Looks like a pencil. But yeah, because Hazel is so small, so much smaller than a lot of avatars, it's a very big pencil. Things are big to her, and also her seating animations usually have to be adjusted. But it's... So, alright, if I wanted to take a photograph of her, I'm actually proving quite successful at moving the camera around. Ooh, macarons. This really is Parisian. I love macarons, or macarons. Alright, should we look through the window? Yeah, I think that's kind of interesting. Okay, so this is just a very rudimentary photograph. And we're going to go to Edit Day Cycle. I'm going to change it a little bit. Let's get the moon or sun. foundation. That's kind of interesting. All right, let's change the color of it. I know my mind is wandering. Okay. It might be late. In the day. There we go. Now let's go to atmosphere and lighting. I don't like the ambient color here, so let's change it. Kind of nice to sit in a Parisian All right. Okay. So, and I would probably crop it here. But this is, you can do a lot. You can do, okay, say I want the colors. Filters. Ah, yes. Filters. Oh, 1970s colors. Let's see what those are. Yeah, Kodachrome. Blown highlights. That's interesting. Okay, I'm going to save that. And as I will talk about in a later... I always save to disk because you can save to your inventory, but that charges you 10 lindens for a picture you might not like. So I always save to disk, and then you can upload it to your inventory if you want to share it or use it in some way, like put it on your wall or something like that. But okay, this is New Caleta. There is sometime I should get my train out and take you, because in real life I love train stations and trains and train travel. And so Hazel hangs out mostly at a train station because I can pack and unpack things. I can take out a box and get something out of it in my inventory. So she hangs out here. And it's these little green dots are people, and there are not many people here. When I first came into Second Life, I was very avoidant. I tended to avoid places where there were a lot of people. And that changed when I had a friend come in and she wanted to go to these clubs and things. And so that's what we did. And I made some friends that way, but I mostly am by myself now. But so you could take something out of your inventory here. Like I could take out a chair, say, and sit down. Wow, that's a lot of current projects. A lot of these are things that I built. Oh, this is a perfect thing for a train station. Let's see if I can do it. Sit here. But so usually we'd need a sandbox to build, which is a place where you can res. This chair obviously is mesh. And which means that if I had a kit for this to build it, it would come in one piece, possibly two pieces. And the kit would come with the textures, like And here none of it is rezzing because this place is very laggy. Okay, stand, and it might disappear by itself as soon as I stand up, or I might have to... Okay. Take. As you can see, it's been a while since I've done anything in Second Life except for photographs. And even that I haven't been doing so much lately, but the photographs, I'm very proud of some of them. I have some of them framed and in my house, photographs I took in Second Life. But so this is Second Life. I did have a job in Second Life briefly. A couple of times I've opened little shops, just coffee and tea shops, and hung some of my photographs on the wall and sold some. And once I had a job as a hostess in a ballroom, and people come and dance in fancy clothes to rock music or whatever kind of music. All kinds of music clubs in Second Life. Any kind of music you can name, you can probably find a club that plays that music and where people who like that music hang out. And I used to do that, but, you know, and maybe I'll start doing it again. I don't know. I do kind of miss it. But I'm not doing any of that currently. Just come into Second Life mostly to take photographs. And that is what my next video will be about taking photographs. But now at least you will know what Second Life is, or have some idea of it. Although this is just a very brief, incomplete introduction to it. I'm going to go back to preferences because, as I will say in the other one, do not ever log out of Second Life with your preferences set on high, with your graphics set on high, because it will take you forever. And as you see, going down from ultra to mid immediately took all my graphics down. It keeps setting avatar physics on high, which bugs the heck out of me. I don't like avatar physics. I think they're stupid. And set on high, that's, I don't know if I'll ever explain avatar physics to you, but they basically make a woman's body, they make her boobs jiggle, basically, or bounce. I don't care for them in real life. When I'm wearing bras, my boobs don't tend to move that much at all. That's something I did not think I would say. I wonder if I will leave it in. We'll see. Anyway, so this is my Second Life video. And maybe I will do future ones because there is a lot. It's interesting. It's interesting. It's fun. Whatever it is you like to do, you can find a place to do it. If you like to do role play about vampires, you can easily find a lot of that. Not as much as there was. There's steampunk. There's fantasy sims where you can do fantasy role play, where you can be a mermaid, or you can be a fairy, or an elf, or a witch. And there are sims where you can be an actual person, where they're very like the Berlin sim I was talking about. They have rules about how tall you can be. Hazel is fine there. Hazel is on the short side, very much on the short side. And she would be tall in real life. She would be the equivalent of like 5'10" or even 6 feet tall. But in Second Life, you'll see a number of people who in real life would be 7 to 8 feet tall. And because the buildings are also big, but they have to be so that you can see inside of them with your camera and not have your camera cut off by walls and things. It's complicated, but I have enjoyed it I still come in here after 15 years, and I don't do the same things I used to do, and I don't pay money to have a home. You can pay a certain amount of money and you can rent a home. I used to like to rent land because I like to build the houses I lived in. I'm sure I have some photos of some of the houses I built, or I could take them out of my inventory at a sandbox, which is a place where you can take things out and where you can build. But other people like to do other things at sandboxes and take things out which you don't particularly want to see. So I just kind of stopped building without having like relatively private sandboxes. Public sandboxes can be a pain in the neck. So here's Hazel. She's not especially dressed up. Mostly I have her wearing the sort of clothes that I wear in real life, only she looks much, much better in them. She does have some fancy clothes because at some of the clubs that she went to, you had to have formal wear. So she has a few formal dresses and nice high-heeled shoes. And it is fun dressing her up. But mostly I prefer, Hazel likes to be just plain. And yeah, she is a bit on the goth side. And I used to hang out at a goth club with goth music, only the real goth band that was behind that club went on the road, so I stopped hanging out there. But it was fun. It was fun, and I made a lot of really good friends, and I made friends with a lot of people who are no longer friends because we just didn't have anything in common when I stopped doing that. And because the word friend, I should just do a whole video on the word friend and my feelings about how it has denigrated with the advent of social media and with people not understanding the meaning of the word friend the way I understand it. There's so much to talk about, isn't there? But Hazel is, where is that going? Right. I wonder if she will. She is, yes. Okay. So, and they usually go along a road, but this one's going through the air, which is very odd. You have all kinds of vehicles you will come across that you can just ride in for sightseeing purposes. I'm staying with this because I'm really curious where it's going. Okay. Stand. Is she gonna fall? No. Oh, it's a map. Okay. This is a map that has, just all sorts of things. I haven't explored in a long time. Maybe next time I'll make one just exploring. But anyway, thanks for coming along for this little look at Second Life. And, definitely, if it's something that interests people, or just if I need to fill a video and don't know what else to fill it with, maybe we'll do more explorations in Second Life. But hope you're having a great day and that you have a great weekend. And thanks for coming along with me. And please, if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you subscribe, I will love you forever. If I know who you are, I don't always know who my subscribers are on YouTube. I have 3 as of this video. I would love to have some more. Take care. Thanks for coming along. Bye.